Welcome back to another episode of the Minecraft. Wait, no. Welcome back to episode 2 of the RayCraft SMP with me, Captain Rayhab. We gotta sleep. Okay, so as you've seen in the background, well, all around, right? We decided to kind of set up in the mesa biome. This structure right here is what houses the portal that links back up with all of the other portals on the server. Let's go ahead and put our armor back on. As you can see, my inventory is kind of full with a bunch of stuff, which is kind of going to be what this episode is about. But first I wanted to talk about this structure right here. You know, out in like the Mojave, less about the Mojave, but like the desert, like the out west part of like the Americas, right? Well, not the Americas, but the America, right? Like out in like Mexico, New Mexico and Arizona and Utah, I guess, out that way, right? This is where this was kind of, you know, themed off of, the idea for this mesa biome. And so they've got these little rocks that have like holes in them, right? I've always thought those look so neat. And there was a little bitty one, right? I think it was right there, maybe, or it was over there, and it had like it was like a little hole like this, maybe about that size, maybe like I don't know, just big enough for like a normal, you know, the bare minimum portal. And I just thought that was the coolest kind of place to put it in. And then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? How about just make it way bigger? And this is kind of the start of the valley I've kind of chose to settle down in. And so we went ahead, and I've been terraforming. We're going to end up terraforming all of this stuff out and replacing it with dirt. But we don't have enchanted tools. We don't have diamond tools. We don't have none of that. We have a handful of cows and a handful of red sheep that I used for that over there. Which, I guess I've shown you enough of that. That's kind of where we live, too. See, we've got all of our random junk and whatnot stored in here. And little tools or whatnot, furnaces. And obviously our huge portal. Which, if you do this, I would definitely say to light up the area around it really well. The amount of times I've went over into the nether to go back to the main hub or whatever, or the spawn island, and have been blown up by a creeper as soon as I load in, before I even have the chance to attack or defend myself or anything like that, it's unreal. But then you come across this custom bridge, have our farm animals that I kind of showed you guys in the last episode, kind of what to do with them, right? And then we have this awesome train and the track that they sit on. And then all this, which eventually will turn into grass. But for now, this track just runs straight into the wall, right? We'll have a tunnel on that side and on this side, and a train station here. But again, this isn't... the series isn't about all that. You're not here for the creative, like, oh, look how cool the stuff is that I built. Because really, honestly, none of it's really that cool. But we have this little tunnel here because the way I see it, your first day you kind of spend, you want to gather as many resources as you can, right? You may or may not have enough wool to sleep, so that first night the best thing to do is to go underground, go caving, right? Now the thing about caving, you're most likely, I feel like, to come across at least 1 or 2 dungeons. Now, on your first night, your first couple days, they're not really worth anything. But in this video, we're going to go ahead and show you what makes those dungeons so special with this. Which, as you can see, is just a bunch of crap. And my inventory's got it all in here. We kind of already had the recording done, but the files were all corrupted, every one of them. I don't know what happened, so I'm having to record all of this again. With that, though, I guess what we'll do is we'll jump into creative, and I'll show you kind of how to set up the XP farm, right? You've got, you know, the skeleton and the zombie. Those two are kind of the same. They have a spider one, which not really the best for bedrock. Yeah, spider not the best for the bedrock. So what you'll want to do is find yourself a zombie or a skeleton spawner, right? And then that's kind of the start of this. And you see I've got him to 1 or 2 hits. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. It's a super simple design. Literally, I think it's just, they even tell you how to do it block for block on the wiki. Now, there's other people, everybody says they've added steps to it, which, honestly, the person that I found, I think, maybe has made the best one. I usually would use ice. We'll get into the details when we get to building this thing. Let's go ahead and we'll just jump into creative mode. Okay, so here we are in the super awesome creative world. First thing you'll want to do when trying to make yourself an XP farm is to find yourself a spawner. Now, I've already found mine, obviously, right? But the easiest way to find them, if you're having troubles when you're caving or whatever it is on your adventures, there's this awesome little website called Chunk Base. So you go to Chunk Base, and you can type in the seed of your world, whether you're on Bedrock or Java, and they've got plenty of different little like mods or packets or whatever that you can find once you've put in your seed to help you find spawners, biomes, pretty much anything you'd ever want to find is on Chunk Base if you're having troubles finding stuff, right? Once you found yourself a spawner, like I said, for this method, it'll need to be a skeleton or a zombie farm. Or zombie or skeleton spawner, right? You can tell by the little thing inside of it. It looks something like similar like this. You know, this one had access to a cave on both sides. Not much of a cave. This side expands quite a bit. But, yeah, this is just a copy of that world before I did the full setup. So, that's kind of why it's all lit up and stuff like that. But you'll want to also make sure to go around and light up kind of the area around the cave. I don't know if it messes with the spawn rates too much. I don't think it does, but, I mean, heck, while you're caving, might as well, right? Go get the resources and, you know, light it up. Yeah, so the first thing you'll want to do is, once you get into the spawner room and you're ready to set this up, you'll obviously clear out the chest. I've already had done that, I guess. So, you'll take all the loot, right? You can put that wherever you want to. But then what you'll want to do is go out 4 on all sides of the spawner. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll want to clear that out. So we'll do that right here. On all sides as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so once you've done that, you'll have something that looks kind of similar to this. The roof, the ceiling above the spawner is really up to you. It can be 2 or 3 blocks. My ceiling is already 3 blocks high. So I'm just going to leave it. And what you can do, you'll have to make sure nothing spawns on here. So what you want to do is put a half slab right here so the skeletons can't spawn on there, because what'll happen is, say a skeleton does spawn on top of the spawner, they won't ever walk off, and it'll eventually clog up the machine and it won't spawn any more skeletons if it happens enough, right? This is just to kind of help with the rates. Personally, I always make it 3 high, but it doesn't really matter. After you've done this step, however, since you'll be digging downward next, you'll probably want to go ahead and fill in the walls of like the cave, wherever you have cave entrances. So now you have a solid chamber, because the reason it's 9x9 is this is the max area that they can spawn in. Okay, so once you've got yourself a 9x9 room, the next step is you're going to want to dig down 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And you'll want to do that all the way throughout the room. So, alright, so the next thing, remember, you want to keep kind of lighting this area up so that way you don't get attacked by the mobs as they spawn. So then the next step, once you've got yourself a 9x9 room that I think is also 9 blocks tall. Okay, 8 or 9 blocks tall. Once you've got yourself a room that's a 9x9 that's 8 to 9 high, here's this part that you'll want to kind of figure out which direction you want these mobs to go in, right? I'm in creative mode. I think my base was set up in that direction. Maybe it was this direction. I'm not entirely sure. You're going to want to dig a trench though, right? It's on either side. Once you, so say we want them to go that direction, right? Towards this wall. What you'll do is you can dig a trench on this side or this side. It doesn't really matter. So we'll go like this. And that's because we'll put water source blocks along this wall, which when they spawn, they'll fall in and then they'll push over to this side. And like I said, we want them to go that way, right? So we'll have to go ahead and have a water source block here. But once you've got the trench dug, you'll want to go 1, 2, 3 into the wall, into the direction that you want them to go in, right? Now from there is when things get a little tricky. So after you've got your entrance way right there, 3-way deep into the wall, you'll want to come and find the middle of this trench, a roundabout. Doesn't necessarily have to be the middle, but, and knock all of that out. Go back so it's deeper than another layer, right? And at the very end, for our water elevator, you'll go ahead and you'll put in a piece of soul sand. Now you'll want to go a block below that and put in a fence gate, and then knock out the block, and not fence gate, a fence. And then before the fence, you'll want to knock out another block. So then that way you can just walk right onto it. You see that? I can't walk this way, neither can the mobs. And then bam. So that way when the water comes through, it kind of helps push them into the system, right? Now, you're going to have to prevent the water from coming off of this water elevator. And to do that, you'll want to put a sign here. Not here where the water, you'll want the water to go over the fence. So you'll put one here, then you put another one. Bam. Okay, 5. You'll want 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signs. You'll want 5 signs going up because that gives them plenty of time that whenever they're stuck in this halfway spot to continue to move forward, right? And it gets them out of the way so the next skeleton coming up can be in the same predicament as them, right? So for the most part, that's pretty much finished for this room until we get to the water portion. So the next thing you'll want to do, so I made this little room. It can be as big or as small, look however you want it to be, right? You'll just want it to be mob proof, right? Because you'll be AFK in here. And you don't want it to be too far away from the spawner, because you get too far away, it won't spawn. I think it's 16 blocks away from the spawner in all directions. So full, like, circle, right? Full diameter. Or no, radius. 16 block radius away from the spawner, it won't spawn, right? And that's up, down, side to sides. So you'll want to be at least that close. And then you'll want to go ahead and get a block that's lined up kind of with that soul sand block that you have, that trench. Remember, this can go anywhere, probably within this room. Really, you only need like a 3-block gap, but it's fine. So then what you'll do, just to make this safe, you'll want to remember this coordinate. And the reason you'll want to remember this coordinate, the main one that's important, is your middle coordinate. I think that's your Y, or your X, or your Z. I don't know. I just know if you're on Bedrock, you'll see your coordinates on, and it'll be your middle coordinate. So mine's at 50. Now what I want to do is go up 22 blocks, right? So that way they fall right here on this block. Now, so I can do this a little bit easier because I'm in creative. You'll have to go up to like the surface or find a way to get to that level and then dig probably down, right? Okay, so mine didn't line up perfectly with being staying inside the mountain, right? Now, sometimes they won't if they're too close to the surface. So you'll have this eyesore, which you can always figure out some way of like decorating that or build around it. So after you get this one in, you'll have to go over to where you've got your soul sand at and do the same thing. Now, we're going to start putting in the water. So what you'll want to do when you're up here before you go down is make sure you get your sign in place. That doesn't do it. There we go. So now whenever they get pushed from the water, they'll just kind of boop, bam. Now from here, I told you to put the soul sand. I was wrong. You want a nice fancy piece of dirt. Sorry about that. Oh, and this block right there, you'll want to go ahead and get you a stair facing that direction. So if you're coming in this way, they'll kind of be nudged by the water, right? And because they'll be half in the water and half not. So they'll hit this stair and it might help nudge them. Say they're like kind of farther this way. With the water pushing them, it'll push them this way and then eventually pull them up, right? Well, actually, while you were up here, one of the things you could have done was actually take your water and put it right there. So then that way, and it's on Bedrock, I always have this weird glitch where it doesn't actually flow. That's no big deal. It fixes itself. What you'll do is then you'll go down to the bottom where you have your dirt block placed. place a piece of kelp, and then you can bone meal it. And you just kind of keep bone milling it until your bone meal stops being used, right? See, no more particles. So now it should be all the way at the top. Sometimes it isn't, though. See, I ran into this problem too. So then you have to come in with your own extra pieces of kelp. And there you go. You see it pushed it all the way through. Now, that is a 22 block drop. If you're not wearing all of your armor, boots, and feather falling and stuff, I think it'll kill you. It killed me whenever I was making this the first time. Well, not for... It killed me when I was making it for the server, right? But then you can just knock out this bottom block. Get your soul sand ready in your hand. Knock out the dirt and replace it with soul sand, right? And now you've got a bubble elevator. You'll just kind of... whoosh, and this is what happens with the baddies, too. They'll come up here, and then they get stuck, and then this sign here, and it pushes them off the edge. Now what you'll want to do is get your water here. Knock out that torch. You'll want to knock out all of the torches on the walls at this point. And then water bucket. There you go. So that whole wall needs to be water sources. So you can start with just 2 buckets, put them here and here, and then grab from the middle, grab from the middle. You know, just do that all the way down when you're in your survival world. And then you'll want to go ahead and whoop, 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 whoop. Look, instantly. And you see them going? They're going to go down here. And you can kind of watch this all happen. Oh, okay. So it's not as perfect because there's so much airflow here. Usually I won't have it this high, right? So they don't have that option to come back down. But yeah, no, it works. Trust me, I was able to do it in my own world. So now you'll obviously want to have yourself a safe way out of here that can get you out of here real quick. So let's jump over into that. Survival, I guess? I don't know why it caused the lightning to come in, but okay. And you just sit here and you collect all of the goodness that is the XP, right? And all the resources. And there's ways of like auto sort and all of that, but we'll do that in a later episode. So since you know how to make this, we can go ahead and jump right into RayCraft, and we might go ahead and work on like the next step, right? That you'd want to do in your own survival world or whatever. Just kind of more along the guides of how to play this game. Okay, so this wasn't quite the outro I wanted to film for this episode. But it seems as though 16.220, right? That update, the update that just came to Bedrock, it seems to have broken my realms. So yeah, I'm not really sure what we're supposed to do here. This is a copy of it that I had made. Just so I can kind of work on the entrance a little bit more. This is supposed to be a skull. They'll have some more eyes and stuff. It's going to be taller than this, right? Now, the big issue, I don't know. I was playing on here, and I was playing on the server. Like, this is a copy. I did all of this on the server, and I got to this point, and I was trying to figure out the top part for the eyes and stuff like that. And while figuring that out in a copy of the world that I put into creative mode, right? Then when I went back to go into the game, it wouldn't let me, and it stopped letting me. I had another realms that I had subscribed to by accident, and it would let me go into that one no problem. And then I put this world on that realm, and now it won't let me get on that realm either. So I don't know if it's this world or what exactly happened, but we'll either have to reset the RayCraft server, which at this point I'm the only one that plays on it anyways. So if I reset it back to basically a blank world and that actually works to let me play on it, I don't really know kind of what the point in that would be, because really, we're not going to be able, like, I don't play with anybody. If you guys don't join the server, if you guys aren't wanting to, then there's no point, and the RayCraft server will just probably end, honestly. Yeah, that really kind of sucks, but I've had some good times on the server when we did have the group of people on that I played with. And oh man, see, look at this render distance. It's so much better, like, in your world than it is on, like, Realms. Look at that. You can see back there. You would be able to see the whole city built. I don't know. I guess that's enough complaining. I'm probably going to go ahead and end this episode here. Maybe try and figure some more stuff out with this, because it's not letting me play on my phone, my PlayStation 5, or my PC. I have talked to one of my buddies that are on here to see if he can get on. If maybe it's just where I'm trying to load in at, right? Because that skeleton farm might have maybe crashed the server. I don't understand, because I went and quit the game, right? And then I went back into it after going into a copy of that world, and then all of a sudden won't let me use it. And I went and downloaded a backup file from that world, and that's how I'm here. This is a backup of that, because it automatically every like so many minutes like saves a backup, right? So I downloaded the backup and I put it back on the server, and I put it back on the other server, or the other realms, right? And now I just can't use either of them. So I don't know. Maybe if when I get a little bit bigger, a little bit more subscribers, we can try this experiment again, and we can get some more people together. Really upset because I've done some things, like, first off, that the nether portal is amazing. I love that. I love the train. This will be the first Minecraft world. Well, not the first one, because me and my buddy had one together not too long ago. So this will just be, I don't know. That one didn't feel like I left it, because I left it to start my YouTube Let's Play series. And he wasn't really wanting to play Minecraft anymore anyways. So that one didn't feel too bad. This one feels terrible. Like, I was just getting in the groove of things. Just got the skeleton spawner. Got a little enchanting table. Got ourselves a pickaxe. Got super lucky. Breaking 3, Fortune 3, and Efficiency 4. So, I don't know. I guess this might go ahead and be the end of this series, though. Oh, that's a little upsetting. But if you guys like this episode, you probably won't see me back here. You might, though. I don't know. Please like this video. Let me know down in the comments if you guys would want to play in a Realms with me, because if so, then I'll get this figured out, right? You know, make sure you subscribe so that way you can watch the other series of Minecraft that I have going on, and the other new stuff that I'm working on. So, I don't know. I appreciate you guys for watching. Peace out.